what you're hearing Andy so eloquently teach here is that all of us are worshipers. God made us worshipers. I think it's part of even the image of God in us. We want to pour ourselves out to something. And there's all kinds of idols and all kinds of things that can drive us away from Christ. And ultimately we know that Christ has to be the center of our worship because He is the one true God. So in a brief way, what we do as a gathered church on a Sunday is we are believers and we're gathered to worship Jesus. So it means that in order to worship Jesus, you have to believe Jesus. So in some ways, this is like a family reunion. So let me dig into that a little bit. I grew up in an Italian home. My mom was full-blooded Italian, and we would go to these huge extended family reunions. I mean, enormous. Have you seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding? Yeah. Like, as I watched that movie the first time, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is my family. And there'd be a guy strolling around playing an accordion, these Italian folk songs. There'd be someone who had just made his homemade wine and wanted to bring it to share with everyone, and sausages are on the grill, and everyone's talking at the same time really loud, all on top of each other, and you can't even get a word in edgewise. And, it was just crazy. And if I invited you to come to my big fat Italian family reunion, you would be like, you would have two responses. One response would be like, these people are out of their minds. Especially if they would probably kiss you too. So guys, get ready for that. But you would say, these people are out of their minds, or you might say, and Italy is among them. Because you would just have this flavor of the ethnicity. So actually the reason why I use those two phrases, Italy is among you, or these people are out of your minds, is because the Apostle Paul uses those very same phrases when he talks to the church in Corinth. So in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, you could take a look at it, verses 24 and 25. He says to this church, look, when you get together, this is a family reunion. There's stuff you're supposed to do. Sing songs, hear from the Word, pray together, encourage one another, edify, hear from elders and teachers, submitting to one another, and have unity among one another. There's things that you're supposed to do when you're together at your family reunion as a church. But here's the difference between this family reunion here and my Italian family reunion. We're awaiting new people to join our family. Our whole family's not here yet. So Paul says to the church in Corinth, if you're just using all of your insider language and no one can understand what you're saying, and then outsiders and non-believers are going to come in here and they're going to be like, those people are out of their minds. But if we're singing songs that the words can be explained, and that we sing them even repeated enough that we can learn those words and internalize them, if we're hearing teaching and explaining that, then Paul says that people coming from the outside will say, surely God is among you. And so it's my heart as the worship pastor here, and the team's heart as we prepare our music and artistic elements to the service. We don't want this to be a crazy language that no one can understand. We want this to be accessible. We want all of you to be like so proud of what we do at our gatherings, and that we're so hospitable that you want to tell your neighbors, you want to tell your friends, your coworkers, hey, you got to come and hear the great news of the gospel. You got to hear about how Jesus has brought me from death to life. And you should see the electricity in the room when we all sing and when we all participate.
Thanks, Matt.